Okay, I'm going to try to do what I've been putting off. The penthouse enclosure. So, been thinking about whether that opening is as narrow as all that. What's happening in actuality is the columns on the third floor have these brackets at the top that sort of reach forward toward the center of the building. Let me look at it in a photograph. Now you can see them in here. So the columns below become something like engaged columns or pilasters above, and then they have these brackets. It's sort of an arch like this. So I could build such a thing, and then, you know, there's this parade of windows across the top. I could build such a thing. Let's try to get, so we think the shape of it is actually more let's see if I can measure the distance between. It's about 40 feet from column to column. How is it in this other model over here? Yeah, 40-ish feet. So I'm okay. I think what I'm going to do is expand the opening to the columns. So I'm going to select the face and move these inside faces toward. I want to lock the red axis in place and stop Is that giving me what I want? No. Let's try to move again. Red axis. I don't know why I can't snap to that point. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but okay, I want for that to meet come on, red axis. There it is. There we go. Let's do the same on the other side. This will be less than 14, right? We have to save the file. And move red axis to the column. Then I'm going to select, close that group, Now what I'm going to do is modify that element, that component, to come up another 10 feet. So that'll be the height of the penthouse. Let's go 12 feet. Right. So the bracket that might be too tall. Let's see what that is. Close this component. The front columns will have to be unique and shorter. Let's make that unique. Column forward, whatever. Push that face down. Uh, 10 feet. We still might want it to come up a little bit. Let's close that component. Now we want to select these three and replace them with I think I've made a tray with just components. Where did it go? There it is. Column forward. Right click, replace selected. So now all four of those. Right? So the windows are going to be developed okay, close. Did we close the component? So this is going to have a roof over it, and that roof has something of a pitch. I could model it by drawing directly on top of these columns. So we have a shape. I double click that and make that a group. So when I modify this, let's just give it a provisional thickness of 12 and close it. So that's our upper roof, if you will. It's obscured by this pediment and some other stuff. I think we measured that, we decided that to the top of that building was about 77 feet. Let's look at what the component attribute Z value would be for this. So the Z position is 930 inches, which is 930 divided by 12. Beautiful, 77.5 feet. That's about where the top of that wants to be. Let's look at a picture again. So the columns, what we just modeled is that roof that's sitting on top of these brackets. We don't have this array of arched windows there. I'm going to ignore that for now. But for all intents and purposes, that is a largely transparent segment, right? So those are, it's like a light well. It lets light in over there. So back to the model. Let's create a layer for another roof. Let's bump this tray out. Roof upper. And put that on roof upper. And we can hide roof upper temporarily and think about how we're going to make these brackets. Well, they're somewhat arched, so we could draw them point to point with a bulge. We don't have a point. If we use the center and 2 points, this would work. Center and 1 point. Now it's drawn the wrong way. It would be down here. No, that's not right. We want something that will fit it's going to be on this plane. I'm going to say 6 feet by 6 feet. Let's try that. 6 feet, comma, 6 feet. That might be an exaggeration, but that, double click it, make it a group. You can make it a component. Let's take a chance. Bracket. 6 by 6. We might be getting into the weeds here, but might as well have fun. Let's move this to about the midpoint of that. So, let's create a copy. Midpoint of that, so we can see what we're modeling. And double click that, and we need an arc whose center will be that endpoint. So now we can use this tool. There, there, there. It's not really square, is it? Yeah, there's a quarter round. Let's offset it 6 inches. Six. I'm going to have to draw in order to sort of complete, because I want to be able to remove that, that line. We don't need the spandrel either. So it's still selecting that entire shape, so we're going to have to draw a little bit more to complete the face. There it is. Okay. And let us extrude that 12 inches. It is no longer at the center, that column, so we're going to probably want to move it, but we can do that afterwards. I'm not going to mess with the axis. Let's just close the component. And move it we added 6 inches, so let's add 6 inches in that direction. And I think that's about centered. So rather than try to relocate this one, we'll just copy that. I think every 10 feet will do it. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just the end point, hit the control 10 feet and 8x. Does that give me the right number? No, 8x should be less 2, 6x. There we go. So, why have I done that? Because this is what I see up there, evidence of that. Okay, it looks like it might be bigger than that, but again, this will be sufficient for prototyping the interior environment. Now we need to replicate that on the other side. Let's just move one of them. I'm going to move a copy of one. And point that way. And I think if we just flip along not the blue axis, but the red. Nope. Flip along the green. No, that did nothing. Flip along. Rotate it. Endpoint, and let's go 180. There it is. Is that in the right place? Array. Ten feet. 6x. There's our brackets. And if we turn on visibility of the roof, so that's what is holding up. We'll have to decide what happens at the front and back of that, but that's what's going on in the penthouse. I'm going to save this as lesson 14. Talk about we'll call it penthouse. Upper, yeah, penthouse.